Hello everybody and welcome to another D&D discussion video. Today I'm going to be making a Barbarian character levels 1 through 20 from the 2024 Player's Handbook rule set. This is going to be part of a series where I make every single character from the 2024 rule set, all 12 classes, so go ahead and check that playlist out. Now let's jump into it. So here I have my character screen. Now the free version allows you to create 6 characters. You can pay for a monthly subscription for it and you get unlimited characters, but I just have the free version and it works for me. So for the first step, you're going to create a character up here. Character creation method, we're just going to do standard for now. And then you'll have all these character preferences. Just go through and put all your character preferences in. Click next. And then here we have the core rules, all of the 12 classes for the 2024 core rules. And we're going to go ahead and click Barbarian. Now here's the confirm add class page. This is just detailing everything you need to know about them, but I'm gonna go ahead and just add class. And here you go, you have the basic screen for your class. Now I'm gonna be making a level 20 character so that I can go through every single feature with you guys. So in order to make a multi-leveled character, there's this level icon thing over here, this level section. Click the drop down menu and then you can scroll all the way down to level 20 and it'll populate every single level and all the features that come with it. Now for first level, we're gonna go jump right into it with the core Barbarian trait. So open that up and show more. As a level 1 character, your primary ability is strength. Your hit point die is 1d12 per barbarian level. Your saving throw proficiencies are in strength and constitution. For skill proficiencies, you get to choose 2 among animal handling, athletics, intimidation, nature, perception, and survival. For your weapon proficiencies, you have simple and martial weapons, so you can use literally anything. Armor training, you have training in light and medium armor and shield, so no heavy armor, but you don't want to do that anyway because it actually impedes your rage. And then your starting equipment, you get to choose A or B, which A is great axe, 4 hand axes, explorer's pack, and 15 gold pieces, and B is 75 gold pieces. So personally, I would just go with option A because it makes it so much easier. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to buy things with your 75 gold pieces. You just get some stuff right off the bat. So I would just go with A if I were you, but you can do whatever you want. So I'm gonna go with the stereotypical head empty hit things barbarian. So I'm gonna make my skill and all this stuff around that. So choose barbarian skill proficiency. I'm gonna go down here, select athletics, and then I'm going to also select intimidation. Now also with these features, you see how some of them have an exclamation mark next to them. Those options are options that you need to make a selection or make a choice with. So if it doesn't have an exclamation mark, it's just describing the feature or ability. But if you really want to go through and look through which ones you actually have to make a decision on, it's the ones with the exclamation marks. So keep that in mind. All right, we're going to close the core barbarian traits and move on to rage. Now, Rage is the Barbarian's primary ability that you're really going to be focusing on a lot. And basically, it's something that you can do in combat as a bonus action, as long as you're not wearing any heavy armor. And while your Rage is active, the following applies. You have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. Whenever you make an attack using strength and deal damage to them, you gain a bonus to your damage that increases as you gain levels as a barbarian, as shown in the rage damage column. And they have a barbarian features table at the beginning of the class that you can look at and has a bunch of information down. So the rage damage is shown there. You have advantage on strength saves and strength checks. Now, unfortunately, you can't maintain concentration or cast spells, which is fine because as long as you're not multi-classing in anything that has spells, you'll be fine. Now, as for the duration, the rage lasts for 10 minutes total, but you do have to either attack somebody, force an enemy to make a saving throw, or take a bonus action to extend your rage. Otherwise, it'll end. It also ends early if you don heavy armor or if you are incapacitated. So yeah, rage is a really nice core thing with barbarians that you really want to use to the best of your ability. Moving on from rage, there's unarmored defense. While you aren't wearing any armor, your base armor class equals 10 plus your dexterity and constitution modifiers, and you can use a shield and still gain the benefit. So that's really nice because that way you don't have to wear armor. And honestly, this is one of those things where if you don't, it might be better. You need to look at your armor that you have versus not wearing any armor, because not wearing any armor might actually be better than wearing some armors. Because for instance, if you are wearing leather armor, your leather armor is going to be 11 plus your dexterity modifier, which is similar to having like a constitution of +1, because then it'd be like that base of 10 +1, which makes it 11, and then plus your dexterity, whatever that is. Well, if your constitution is higher than +1, it makes more sense to not wear that leather armor than to wear that leather armor. So you really have to watch out for that, and don't make the mistake of, oh, it's armor, let me wear leather armor because I'm armoring myself. Well, no, because your unarmored defense is actually increasing your armor class higher than that leather armor is. Next, after unarmored defense, last first level ability we have is weapon mastery. Now these things are new to 2024, these weapon masteries, and basically it allows you to select a weapon that you want to have your weapon mastery in, and every weapon has a weapon mastery property that allows you to do something special or different that allows you to do more damage or do something different, like push them farther away, all that kind of stuff. And so as a barbarian, any martial class has this, and you get to choose 2 options that you want for your weapon mastery. So since I chose the starting equipment, and right now I just have the starting equipment, I'm gonna go ahead and select Great Axe and Hand Axes. Go down to Great Axe, which is Cleave, and Cleave basically means that whenever you attack somebody, you can attack the person next to them if they're within range, and you deal damage to them equal to just your damage die without your bonus. And then for Hand Axe, you have Vex, which means that if you attack them and deal damage to them, you have advantage on your next attack roll against that creature before the end of your next turn. So it encourages you hitting them multiple times. All right, after weapon mastery, we're on our 2nd level now. There's Danger Sense. You gain an uncanny sense of when things aren't as they should be, giving you an edge when you dodge perils. You have advantage on dexterity saving throws unless you have the incapacitated condition. So this is a nice little addition that you can just have advantage on dexterity saving throws. After Danger Sense, on 2nd level, you get Reckless Attack. So it says you can throw aside all concern for defense to attack with increased ferocity. When you make your first attack roll on your turn, you can decide to attack recklessly. Doing so gives you advantage on attack rolls using strength until the start of your next turn, but attack rolls against you have advantage during that time. So this is one of those high risk, high reward types of things where you can give yourself advantage on your attacks, but other people have advantage against you. So you kind of have to weigh that of like, when do I want to do that, or when is it not smart to do that? After Reckless Attack, now we're on to 3rd level. You get to choose your subclass. Now the subclass is a specialization of the barbarians, and they have 4 subclasses each on, or for every class in 2024. Now, unfortunately, since I don't actually own the 2024 core rulebook in D&D Beyond, I only have one option. I only get Path of the Berserker. But if you do have the 2014 expanded rules, they do work with this 2024 character. So there's Path of the Ancestral Guardian and Path of the Storm Herald that are both from Xanathar's Guide to Everything. So if you do have Xanathar's Guide to Everything, those will work as well. But since I'm just sticking with 2024 rules, I'm gonna do Path of the Berserker. Even though I don't really like Path of the Berserker that much, but it'll work, I'll be fine. Basically for Path of the Berserker, it says, channel rage into violent fury. Barbarians who walk the Path of the Berserker direct their rage primarily towards violence. Their path is one of untrammeled fury, and they thrill in the chaos of battle as they allow their rage to siege and empower them. So this is more of the stereotypical barbarian where they let their rage control them and let their rage really let them excel. So if you're looking for a stereotypical barbarian, Path of the Berserker all the way. So moving on from that, you have Primal Knowledge at 3rd level that I get to do a choice in. You gain proficiency in another skill of your choice from the skill list available to barbarians at level 1. That's cool. I get to add a skill proficiency, which if I'm going the route of being a stereotypical one, I'm gonna do perception, because that way it's like I want to be perceptive in my killing as well. Because it also says, in addition, while your rage is active, you can channel primal power when you attempt certain tasks. Whenever you make an ability check using one of the following skills, you can make it as a strength check, even if it normally uses a different ability. You get that with acrobatics, intimidation, perception, stealth, or survival. And so it says whenever you use this ability, your strength represents primal power coursing through you, honing your agility, bearing, and senses. So that's what's really cool, is even if you choose to tank your wisdom because you want to be a stereotypical barbarian, you can still have this perception and it'll work, because you can while you're raging, you can make that perception a strength check instead of a wisdom check. So moving on from primal knowledge, the last thing at 3rd level is frenzy. So you get, if you use reckless attack while your rage is active, you deal extra damage to the first target you hit on your turn with a strength-based attack. To determine the extra damage, roll a number of d6s equal to your rage damage bonus and add them together. And remember that rage damage bonus is seen on that chart at the beginning of the class. So basically this frenzy actually comes from the path of the berserker, and basically it just makes you more willing to use that reckless attack because it just makes it so much stronger. So instead of it being like, oh, I'm just gonna, you know, give myself advantage and then take advantage from other people, you know, give advantage to other people against me, I'm going to, you know, make myself have advantage and I'm gonna deal extra damage. In return, they just have advantage against me. So it gives you more of a reason to want to use that reckless attack, and so that's what's kind of cool about Path of the Berserker. So moving on from Frenzy, you get another weapon mastery. If you've picked up anything in the past, you can add it there. Additionally, I didn't mention this earlier, but whenever you finish a long rest, you can change what weapon mastery you have. So if you don't level up, if you're still level 1 and you have those 2 weapon masteries and you pick up a spear and you want the spear to be your weapon mastery, all you gotta do is change it at the next long rest. You can change it to the spear, so instead of like the great axe or whatever. So you can change them so you're not locked into them, so don't worry about that. So for here at 4th level, say I picked up a javelin on the way. I'm gonna go ahead and select the javelin weapon mastery, which is slow. So it says if you hit a creature with a javelin and deal damage to it, you can reduce its speed by 10 feet until the start of your next turn. So that's pretty cool, but moving on from weapon mastery, you have ability score improvement, which this happens every class at levels 4, 8, 12, and 16. So every class has this, and they've categorized it a little differently. So instead of it just being, oh, you get ability score improvement or a feat, they've lumped ability score improvements as a feat. So now it's kind of like, at 4th level, you get to choose any feat. And so one of those feats is the ability score improvement feat. So that it kind of like makes it a little bit simpler, I guess. I mean, I'm used to it the old way, so like it might not be simpler for somebody who's used to it the old way. It made it simpler in the terms that it's like, oh, you just get a feat. So here, to make it easier, I'm just gonna go ahead and do ability score improvement. Now also here, a lot of times you won't deal with this either because I'm making this, you know, 1 through 20. If you are making a higher level character, higher than level 4, what I would recommend is actually going and doing your ability scores first and doing this later, so that way you can maximize your ability score improvements. And what I mean by that is scroll up to abilities. Let's go ahead and put our abilities in. So let's do manual roll just because I like that better. I'm gonna go ahead and roll for my stats real quick. Okay, so I rolled really well. So these are really good numbers. Normally you don't roll this good, but you have these rolls. And another reason whenever you want to make your ability scores first is also I'm going to be assigning these, but I also want to make my background first. So before I go and do this, I got to go to my background and figure out what I want my ability score modifiers to be. So go down to choose an option here. You can select any option you want for the background, but this is going to determine your bonuses here. So since I've rolled and I know those numbers, I'm gonna go ahead and click soldier, since that makes the most sense for a stereotypical barbarian head empty hit things. So skill proficiencies, I get to choose 2 skill proficiencies here, which again, if I'm choosing the stereotypical barbarian, I wanna do survival, and I'm gonna choose acrobatics. So I have survival and acrobatics there. I get to choose a gaming set, which I'm gonna choose darts, just because why not? I get the savage attacker feat, which is also really good with a barbarian, because basically once per turn when I hit a target with a weapon, I can roll the weapon's damage dice twice and use either roll against the target. So that's gonna be really good for a barbarian. And then here's the ability scores. So it allows you to choose between strength, dexterity, and constitution, and you can increase one of them by 2 and one of them by 1, or all 3 of them by 1. So I'm gonna stop there, go over to my abilities, see my stats here. So when I mean maximize your ability scores, I mean that your modifiers for your ability skills change, they increase at even numbers. So it goes 10 and 11 are +0, and then at 12 it goes to +1, and then it's 12 and 13 are +1, and then at 14 it's +2. So you always want to try to make your abilities even, so that way you maximize when your abilities change up to the next modifier number. So I have a decent amount of odd numbers here. The only even number I have is 12. So what I'm honestly going to do is I'm going to make my 17s and my 15s my physical stats. So I'm going to make this my strength, and then the other 17 my constitution. I'm gonna make this 15 my dexterity, and then that way I can add +1 to all 3 of them, and then bump that modifier up to the next one. Since I don't need, if I bump it up to 18, if I bump that 17 up to 18, it's gonna be the same thing whether I make it 18 or 19. So it's the same modifier if I add +1 or +2. So I might as well just add +1 to it and make other ones potentially go up to the next modifier as well. If that doesn't make any sense, feel free to ask any questions in the comments and I'll try to clear it up if that's confusing to you. So there we go. Now I have the 17, 15, 17. I'm gonna go ahead and just select my other ones. I'll just make this 13 charisma, this one wisdom, and my intelligence lower. So I'm surprisingly smarter than I thought I would be, but it's fine. So apply ability scores, I got that set up there. Go back to my background and then back down to the ability scores. I get to increase 3 scores by +1 each. So they're all up by 1. If I go back to my abilities, this one will go up to 18, this one will go up to 16, and this one will go up to 18. And the only reason why it says total 22 and total 22 for both of my strength and constitution is apparently at level 20 for barbarians, you get a +4 bonus to both your strength and constitution. So normally this would just be an 18 and 18 if you were making a less than level 20 character. But basically, you see here in the score calculations, there's the Barbarian listing here, and it says +4. So if we ignore that one and just look at the soldier ability score, +1 for each of them, then it would go up to 18. So now that we have that set, we go back to our class. Scroll back down to where we left off, the ability score improvement. So here, now I can choose my ability scores by looking at my current ability scores and maximizing it there. So basically you can increase one ability by 2 or 2 abilities by 1. And that's why I mean maximizing it, because if you go back to your abilities and you look at, oh, which one do I want to increase by 2? And is there any that I want to increase 2 of them by 1? So right now I have a couple options. If I'm going more towards the strength build, I could increase my strength by 2 and make it 24. Or I could add +1 to both my wisdom and charisma and bump the modifiers on both of them up to +2 and make them both 14. However, I would maybe do that for wisdom and charisma, but I'm looking at more doing that strength build, the head empty hit things build. So I'm just gonna beef my strength and constitution way up. So I'm gonna choose increasing my strength by +2 for now, so that I can really make my strength super high. So for here, unfortunately, the way that this is set up, you don't just like, oh, like, increase strength by 2. You have to go here and you have to click strength under both of them. So each of these columns is increasing that score by 1. So in order to increase one skill by 2, you just have to select strength on both of them. So moving on from that, there's extra attack at 5th level, which is pretty self-explanatory. Whenever you attack, you can attack twice. After extra attack, there's fast movement. Again, pretty self-explanatory. Whenever you aren't wearing heavy armor, your speed increases by 10 feet. After fast movement, we're at level 6 now with mindless rage. You have immunity to the charmed and frightened conditions while your rage is active. And if you're charmed or frightened when you enter your rage, the condition ends on you. So that's really cool. You can just like, you know, become immune to your charmed or frightened, you know, and even if you are charmed or frightened when you're not raging, you can just rage real quick and it just ends on you. So that's really cool that you can just do that. All right, after 6th level, you have 7th level Feral Instinct. Your instincts are so honed that you have advantage on initiative rolls, which is so nice because if you're really trying to like go in there and like start messing stuff up before everybody else, perfect. After Feral Instinct, you have Instinctive Pounce. So as part of the bonus action you take to enter your rage, you can move up to half your speed. And I think that's really cool because say your speed is 30 feet, which is the standard speed. So you have that 30 and then you get that plus 10 from the fast movement. So you're at 40 feet right now. If you do this Instinctive Pounce, you can move 60 feet whenever you use your rage. And so like, that's really cool to me. So after Instinctive Pounce, there's at 8th level now, another ability score, like I mentioned earlier. So I'm gonna choose another ability score improvement, and this time I'm gonna increase my Constitution by 2, just to buff those physical stats up. After ability score improvement, we're on level 9 now with Brutal Strike. And for Brutal Strike, if you use Reckless Attack, you can forego any advantage on one strength-based attack roll of your choice on your turn. The chosen attack roll mustn't have disadvantage. If the chosen attack roll hits, the target takes an extra 1d10 damage of the same damage type, and you can cause one Brutal Strike effect of your choice. So this is really cool. Again, it gives you even more reason to use that Reckless Attack. So instead of giving yourself advantage, you can just make it deal even more damage, which your Path of the Berserker already does. So you're just gonna deal a bunch of damage. Even if you don't have advantage, you still deal a bunch of damage if you hit. Not only do you deal extra damage, but you also get a Brutal Strike effect. You get the options right now of Forceful Blow, which the target is pushed 15 feet straight away from you, and then you can move half your speed straight towards the target without provoking opportunity attacks. And then the other effect is Hamstring Blow, which is the target speed is reduced by 15 feet until the start of your next turn. And you can only affect one creature by Hamstring Blow, so that's kind of a sad, but yeah, Brutal Strike just offers extra options if you just want to deal extra damage and do an effect on them. So that gives you more reason to use that Reckless Attack. After Brutal Strike, we're at 10th level now with another Weapon Mastery. Like I said earlier, you get another one here. So let's just say I picked up a Short Bow. I'm gonna go down and I'm gonna click Short Bow, which is Vex again. So after this Weapon Mastery, you get Retaliation, which basically is whenever you take damage from a creature that is within 5 feet of you, you can use your reaction to make one melee attack against that creature using weapon or unarmed. So that's really cool. I mean, it really makes you want to get in there, because then if they attack you, then you can just attack them back. If you made it this far into the video and aren't subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button for more D&D, RPG, and regular gaming videos. I generally post and stream twice a week, solo and with friends, and I would love for you to be part of that community. Now let's get back to the video. So after Retaliation at 11th level is Relentless Rage. And this one's really cool because it literally stops you from dying. If you drop to 0 hit points while your rage is active and you don't die outright, which dying outright basically means that for instance, if you have 50 hit points, if your max HP is 50, if they deal damage enough to make you at -50, you die outright. There's no death saving throws, there's no saving you, you are dead. So as long as that doesn't happen, you can make a DC 10 Constitution saving throw, and if you succeed, your hit points change to a number equal to twice your Barbarian level. And so like that's really cool, because say, you know, at this 11th level when you get this, if you succeed on that save, you have 22 health, which that's a couple hits. Like you can take probably a couple more hits, and not even considering the fact if you have a cleric that can heal you then. So that is fantastic, you know. And each time you use this feature after the first, the DC increases by 5. And when you finish a short rest or a long rest, the DC resets to 10. So basically, you go down once, it's a DC 10, you save it, you get back up. You die again, it's DC 15, which you get right back up after that, and then it goes for 20 and so on. But even then, if your Constitution is ridiculously high, then that's pretty easy to make. That DC 10 and that DC 15, DC 20, only when it gets up to like DC 25 is gonna be really hard to start beating. So you get 3 solid chances at just getting back up. So after Relentless Rage, we're at 12th level now with another ability score improvement. So again, I'm just gonna go ahead, I'm gonna do Strength again. So you see here, actually, I tried to do Strength, but this one says this feat can't increase an ability score above 20. And so it says here I can do Strength one time, but I can't do Strength again on this one. So which means that I can't go any more than 20. Like this is it. So unfortunately I can't do any more. So I'm gonna try to do Constitution, and see it's the same thing. Constitution I can't do anymore. So I'm gonna do Dexterity instead. So let's buff Dexterity up by 2 instead and get that Dexterity up. After ability score improvement at 13th level now, we have improved Brutal Strike. And with this one, it doesn't increase your damage at all, but you do get 2 more options for your Brutal Strike. You get Staggering Blow, which the target has disadvantage on the next saving throw it makes, and it can't make opportunity attacks until the start of your next turn. And Sundering Blow, which before the start of your next turn, the next attack roll made by another creature against the target gains a +5 bonus to the roll. And you only have 1 Sundering Blow bonus, unfortunately. So, but those are some really solid options for that Brutal Strike effect. that you get at 13th level. After improved Brutal Strike, you get Intimidating Presence at level 14, which this one is really cool because as a bonus action, you can strike terror into others with your Menacing Presence and Primal Power. So basically, each creature that you choose within 30 feet of you has to succeed on a Wisdom saving throw against your Strength, which is already ridiculous at this point. And if they fail, they're frightened of you for 1 minute. Now, at the end of their turn, they can repeat that save, but if your Strength is high enough anyway, it's gonna be really hard to beat that. And you only get this feature once per long rest, but you can also expend a use of your rage to restore your use of it. So if it's to the point where you don't think you're gonna rage that many times and you have some extra rage uses, you can just use that and do some intimidating presences. So after that, at 15th level, you get Persistent Rage. When you roll initiative, you can regain all expended uses of rage. After you regain uses of rage in this way, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. And this is awesome too. Additionally, your rage is so fierce that it now lasts for 10 minutes without you needing to do anything to extend it round to round. And obviously it ends early still if you have Unconscious Condition or Don Heavy Armor. You don't need to do anything, it just lasts for 10 minutes. So like that is a really cool thing with this Barbarian at 15th level, you just rage for 10 minutes. Don't even gotta worry about it. After Persistent Rage, we're at 16th level now with another ability score improvement. So let's go down here, choose that again. And then let's dump it into Dexterity again. So after ability score improvement, improved Brutal Strike again. So the extra damage of your Brutal Strike increases to 2d10. In addition, you can use 2 different Brutal Strike effects whenever you use your Brutal Strike feature. So this one is really nice because it not only does it increase the extra damage of it, but you also get to apply another Brutal Strike effect. So instead of 1 effect, you get 2 effects that you can do. So after improved Brutal Strike, you have at 18th level, Indomitable Might. This one is really cool because if your total for a strength check or a strength saving throw is less than your strength score, you can use that score in place of the total. For instance, if I go to my abilities here, my strength is 24. If I roll anything under 24, it automatically becomes a 24. So like, that's kind of crazy. After Indomitable Might, we have 19th level with the Epic Boon feat. Now, this Epic Boon feat, I talked about this in my other video where I just detailed the differences in 2014 and 2024 rules, but every class has this Epic Boon now at 19th level, and basically you just get a bunch of options here, and you can choose a normal feat, but in my opinion, just choose an Epic Boon feat. They're so much better. But choose an Epic Boon feat, and then you got these options here. Not every single one of these boons is going to be good for your character, and they do have suggested Epic Boons for your class as well. But I'm gonna go with the Boon of Irresistible Offense, because basically it says increase your strength or dexterity score by 1 to a maximum of 30, and you get bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage you deal always ignores resistance. And when you roll a 20 on the d20 for an attack roll, you can deal extra damage to the target equal to the ability score increased by this feat. So basically, whenever I attack somebody, and my strength, at this point, my strength will be 25, I can deal an extra 25 damage to them if I roll a nat 20. So that is crazy. That is ridiculous to me. So let's go ahead and click Strength for both of these. And then after Epic Boon at 19th level, we are now at the final level, 20, Primal Champion. This is what I was talking about earlier, where your Strength and Constitution scores increase by 4, and their maximum is now 25. So see, I go back out to my abilities, and my Strength is 25, Constitution is 24, my Dexterity is actually 20, which is crazy. So yeah, Barbarians can get really, really good, really broken. So they said they balanced this. I honestly think they've just made Barbarians even stronger. I'm gonna be completely honest. Yeah, that was Barbarians level 1 through 20. I hope you guys learned something today. I know I did. I learned that Barbarians might not be more balanced, they might just be even stronger. Let me know what you guys think about this Barbarian in the 2024 rule set. Do you think that they're more broken, or do you think they actually balanced it? And remember to watch my next class guide, which will be Bard. I'm just going right down the list. And also, if you have any questions whatsoever, whether it was about this video or something completely unrelated, feel free to drop that in the comments below and I will answer it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video.